Hey guys, so in this one we're going to continue with the effects and we're going to add poison and stun. Then we're going to display the debuffs on the enemies and we also want to run it through damage reduction function. So for example, if you have high fire resistance, you don't want to take as much damage from burning and so on. So first thing, I have noticed one small issue we have with the enemy health bar. So if you attack while the health bar is hidden, sometimes it doesn't update straight away. Not this one, this one. You can see I hit this enemy, but the health bar is still full. And it happens quite often. And the reason for that is that when the enemy HUD is hidden, it doesn't actually tick. So then when we're trying to update the stat, it doesn't reach the HUD since it's not ticking. So the way we're going to fix it is in the enemy. First, we do have select the enemy HUD. We do have this tick mode disabled. So you can leave it on enabled because anyway, when we're hiding it with the function, it won't tick, as I said. So this won't actually do anything. But we're going to set visibility, sorry, not visibility, but hidden in game to true on the beginning. And then with this function that we set up, which is start health bar check, we will remove this tick mode. We will add new hidden is false because we don't want to hide it. And this won't still help. But the way we're going to change it is let's open the enemy HUD. So we can select it here and find the widget and then open it. And in graph, when it's constructed, so event construct, we're going to call this set enemy bars. Set enemy bars. And construct will be called even if we set hidden in game. So if we unhide it, it will straight away check the correct stats and update it. So now it shouldn't happen. So the bar is not visible, so it's not ticking. But when I hit the enemy, it will update to correct values anyway. Alright, so that's working fine. Now for the conditions, let's go to condition component, a single one. First thing what we want to do is probably let's run it through the damage reduction function so we can then just copy the whole function and just do it for poison and stuff. So to do that, let's drag this burn out. So open this burn function, get owner. We're going to get component by class, which will be combat component. And in the combat component, we have function which is calculate damage reduction. And this basically, based on the damage type, it finds the correct resistance and then gives you the final damage. So for here, we can't just select the damage type, like fire damage type. This one here, it won't actually do anything. It will just give you default damage type because this object actually needs to be constructed, and it is not like this. It is only constructed in the combat component on point damage. So since this won't work, what we need to do is construct object from class. So we'll first basically spawn it. And this will be here fire damage type, connected, and then from return value it will go here to damage type. Here we'll do damage, we're setting it manually. If you eventually want to make like an extreme burn, which will be stronger version of burn, you can change the damage, copy the function, or we can even do it as an input, but I'm just going to do damage here manually, which is 6 every 1.5 seconds, and then final damage we can connect to modify current stat. I think we are multiplying it by -1, yeah, so it should be fine. So back in the condition component, we got final damage to health, and we can also connect it here to damage indicator, which is fire. So now to test it out, if I were to, I'm going to delete these enemies, just leave these two, go to stats component, and I'm going to give him fire resistance. Where are you? Fire resistance. Fire resistance, and max stat will be 100. We just said before, the way it is calculated, the 100 should be around the maximum value that you can have for fire resistance, because that way it reduces damage by, I think, 80%. And then if I hit him and cause burning, you can see he's now ticking for 1 instead of 6. And if I did fire damage, fire resistance, only like, I don't know, 20, then when I hit him and cause burning, he's ticking for 3. So you can see that's working fine. So now I can just, I'll leave it as it is. We can set up poison, because it's going to be done the same way. So in the condition component, in set condition, which one is poison? Poisoning, this one down here, to remove it. And we're going to just copy this one here with the burn, paste it. Let's give ourselves a little bit more space so it's organized. And poisoning will go to this branch. We will duplicate this burn function and we'll call it poison. And here we'll change it to poison damage. Poison none. How is that possible? Do I have poison created? Potion. I spelled it wrong. So poison damage. Now selected here, poison damage. It will give us damage type and finds the resistance based on that. And as I said, I want to tick for less here, but I want to tick for less, so like maybe 4, but it is going longer because I think poisoning is set to 10 seconds instead of 6 seconds you have in burning. So 4 damage, and then back in the set condition, I also don't want to loop it at the same time, so maybe I'll do it every 2 seconds, so it will be 5 times 4 damage. Obviously these are customizable, so you can do whatever. If you want it to tick first time on first seconds, like on 0 when you apply it, you need to set -2 here. So it will tick and then it will take every 2 seconds. If you put 0 here, then basically first time it's going to tick is after 2 seconds. So I want to have a straight away damage. And then what we need to do is set this to poison. Set this to poison. And that is pretty much it. And then while we're here, we can also set up stunt, which we have done mostly. So we're setting the gameplay tag, removing gameplay tag. That is all good, except for the fact that I don't think we have this set gameplay tag and remove gameplay tag set up in the enemy. So on the enemy, event graph, search for set gameplay tag, double click on it. Yeah, we don't have it set up. So set gameplay tag and remove gameplay tag, double click, and we're going to get our gameplay tags variable. We have done it in a player, but we haven't done it in an enemy. Not set, sorry, get it and add tag, add gameplay tag, which will be this one here, and remove gameplay tag. Sorry, not add again. So remove gameplay tag, and we're removing this one. So we're adding stunt and we're removing stunt. For now, I'm not going to disable anything. Let's just see if the poisoning is working. So in the player, on the conditions component, we do have effects. I'll be setting manually for now. I'm going to add 2, so we can actually test out if 2 different ones working. So effects, data table, poison, and then let's apply some damage. Our poison is not It is applying, but it's applying in the wrong color. That is probably because I forgot to change it in condition component on poison here in the end. Poison damage. Don't do the one with the percentage. That needs to be removed, but if you just remove it now during tutorial, it will move some of your stats that you have set up on the player and stuff like that, so I don't want to do it. We'll have to do it off screen. Now, and there we go. So he's burning and he's also poisoned. Now, the second thing is, if I try to kill this guy with this damage over time, let me just get him low, like this. He doesn't actually die, and you can see he's still ticking. So that's not working very well. The way we got it set up at the moment is in the combat component, when we take damage, we're calculating damage, and then after here we are checking if the character is not dead and stuff. But this is not only source of the damage at the moment, because we also have that damage over time now. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this part from here on death stuff, and we're going to, as I said, make it a little bit more modular. Let's open stats component. So either player or enemy, right click on a stats component, edit, and in set current stat is when we basically reducing health or anything, even all the modifiers go through set current stat. So here after on the end we need to check if this stat, get it as a variable, so it's not too many noodles, get stat, and also get value, and if the stat equals enumerator health and the value is less or equals 0, and boolean that means the character is dead. Then we're going to do branch, and if this is true, we're going to get owner of this component and call death, I think it's called, yeah, death message, which is our interface function, and it will call death. And instead of now checking it after every time it damage enemy or on damage over time, we have it directly in the stats, so only when the stats change will die. So now in the enemy, what we can also do is prevent some damage ticking and stuff, and also this on pound sensing that we're turning off, we can instead, what we're going to do is move this back. We will do one more branch after, so it's separate, and we're going to get gameplay tags and check if it has tag. We can do exact match and search for character status, checks is dead. And since I want to continue on true branch, I'm going to do not boolean. So if character is not dead connected, then we can do pawn sensing. And we can right click on this, collapse to macro, and this will be is not dead. So if character is not dead, we will do this, copy it, point damage. We do have it here, but as you can see, it's going from false, so I'm going to remove this, copy is not dead, and continue on true. We'll take damage, then event death, again character is not dead, same thing, paste it, and let's continue on true branch, it looks nicer. And where else? Spawn weapon is fine, attack is fine, event toggle, target lock. We should also have is not dead, because we don't want to somehow target enemy if he's dead. Event stagger, that should be fine. Event play hit react, that should be technically fine. because we shouldn't be applying damages if he's dead. And start health bar checks. Here we also want to add it. We'll add it as a second branch, not the same one. So branch. And is not dead, true. We will start health bar check. Check distance, that is okay. Event set damage indicator. Also want to add it here. Branch. Because we don't want, this is what is causing the damage over time to actually tick and display it. So if the character is not dead, we will spawn it. If it's dead, we won't do anything. And gameplay tag is okay. One more thing we can add is on this pawn sensing. Pawn sensing, which was way up. Pawn sensing. Here we want to do end boolean. And since we now have a stun as well, we're going to check if the gameplay tag, has tag, character status, character check, no, it's status, it's not check, status stunned. And again, we will do not boolean. Then we will do pawn sensing, which will chase the player and stuff like that. Later on, we will move this to behavior trees, but now it's actually nice to fix it. So basically, when we stun the character, we can do exact matches here, as well here. And if we stun the enemy, he won't be able to do pawn sensing. For now, it won't stun him straight away, because if he will be in the middle of the attack or any action, he will actually continue executing it. But later, when we apply stun, we will actually play stun animation and also do some kind of effect. You know, like a bird around his head or something. I don't know. And yeah, this is for stunning as well. Cool. So this should be all working. Let me try to just kill this enemy one more time with the damage over time. So I'll get him low enough, and now if he's sticking, not sure if that's going to kill him even. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so he's dead. I can't target him, he's not ticking anymore for damage over time or nothing. One more thing, actually, I forgot that if we stun an enemy eventually, we won't be able to attack him, because in combat component, in take damage, we do have this where we're checking if the character has any status, and stunned is one of the status. This is for parry basically, so we wouldn't take damage. But if he's stunned, we're just going to continue normally and calculate damage. And later on, if you want, you will have maybe enemy causing 20% extra damage to enemies that are stunned. So you would multiply damage before this. You know, for now we don't need to do anything on stunned. Just move it so it doesn't look crossed. Compile and save. And now we actually want to display it on the enemies, all the debuffs. I have added a couple of the icons. I'll just quickly show you for conditions. So I added the stun icon, this one here, and it will be blue. I'll do 10 seconds here so we can test if it's working. Poisoning, I added this poison icon. Fortify, I didn't change. Burn is the same and stuff. To display it, first we need to go to enemy HUD. We do have most of the functionality already done, so all we have to do is add it here in the enemy HUD. So search for, I think it's conditions box. Yeah, conditions box. Add it to canvas panel. Let's anchor it to the middle, Control and Shift and click. And then offset it position Y, just a little bit lower. This is acting a little bit strangely because it will be only here in the middle. You can actually select the outside box. So let's open the conditions box. You can edit it here. Alright, okay, because there is smaller box inside. So what I'm going to do is right click on this conditions box panel, and I'm going to wrap it with size scale box. So all the icons also will scale. Horizontal alignment is fill, and also scale box need to be anchored to the whole thing, so Control and Shift and click. Yeah, like this. And now in the enemy HUD, we can resize it correctly, so it can be just directly under. Let's do size X. What's the size of the health bar? Oh, it's inside the border, and that border is what? 300. So this one will be 300. Like this. And also one thing we need to change on the icons. So let's go to Blueprints, Widgets, Condition Icon. And this one is a little bit messed up. Let's replace Canvas Panel. So right click, replace it with Overlay. It's a little bit more performant. And then these conditions, again, fill vertically, fill horizontally. They will scale anyway with the available space in the box. But just in case, change this to 100 and 100, so it will have some minimum size, X and Y. And also on condition icon, same thing, 100 and 100. And then this is basically, one of them is radial progress bar, is the progress around it. So that's like cooldown. And the icon is icon, but I want to have icon with a little bit of padding, so it's not overlapping the cooldown circle. So maybe add 4 padding. Compile and save. And now, first we also need to create a condition. So let's check how it is done in the player. Create condition is the function. No, not this one. It's in the event graph somewhere. Event graph, and it's create condition. Yeah, but it's this function here, event add condition, which is condition blueprint interface. So first, on the enemy, go to class settings. We need to add the interface. So implemented interfaces. We got one for conditions. So conditions BPI, add it, and now we can copy this from the player. Copy. Go to enemy and just find empty space, paste it, and then player HUD. This is direct reference to player HUD. We don't have that because we do have enemy HUD, but that's not the same thing. We need to get widget, and you know what, we can cast from it. I know some of you think cast is like the worst thing ever. It's not actually, if you're not doing it on tick or anything. We're gonna be using it to like create conditions once in a while. So it's not terrible. We'll do cast to enemy HUD. Also can be done with the interface, but it will just take too long to create new interface function. So cast to enemy HUD, and from there we can get the connect it to target. It will convert it and give you the conditions box widget which we need to create condition. So this is the setup. Compile and save. And now, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see if that works. So everything else should be set up in the conditions component. There we go, and we do have conditions. I got burning and poison. Can be a little bit bigger, maybe, I would say. Enemy HUD, I'm going to make it 40. And I have to move it a little bit lower now. Alright, yeah, that is better. Now we can see all the conditions that are happening on the enemy. We can reapply them. Now let's see if it dies from this. Probably not. No. Alright, and it's not ticking anymore when you apply it or anything else. So that's working fine. And last thing, let's just test out the stun. So on the character again, on the conditions component, let's add stun as well. I set it to 10 seconds, I think, so we should be able to see enemy stunned. So as I said, it won't stun him straight away. He will always finish, if there is a in the middle of the attack, he will finish it. But we will fix that at some point as well. But as you can see, He's not able to chase me because he's basically stunned. And when it expires, he chases me again. Right, so that's working fine as well. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. I don't want it to make it too long, but in the next one, all we have to do is actually fix that stun first of all, so it's actually playing the stun animation and not doing anything else, and also add some effects. That will be, you know, the character will be burning, or there will be some poison cloud around him and stuff like that. So that will be done with Niagara. So I'll see you then. Bye.